Alrighty. Can you hear me? I always have to do an audio check because it's always jacked up. Yo, Stage with the Prime! Thanks, man. You're amazing. I love you. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out Staged and his cast, he is like actually good at casting as opposed to what you get here. Hey, thanks. I really appreciate it. Can you guys hear me? If there's anyone here, let me know. And then we'll go ahead and get kicked off. Muted. Perfect. Not be screwing with me. Okay. All right. Anyway, thanks, Staged. I take back all the nice things I said about you. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this so that we're not just wasting everyone's time more than they're already wasting by coming here. So it's a late night stream, at least for me, right? Normally we do these during the day. We do them during the week. We have some good turnout. Tonight we're shooting for a Saturday night. Also, just after Thanksgiving. So because it's late, we need to come with some essentials before we get into the list, before we get into the games. Make sure you're hydrated. Have your coffee. Okay, make sure you're wearing all your protective equipment. And then in addition to coffee, we also need to make sure that we have our alcoholic beverage of choice, right? And so tonight, what someone left at my house is a disgusting looking cardboard box called Beatbox, pink lemonade, 11.1% alcohol by volume. That's going to come in great handy because we've got some tier 3 games coming up today. We've got the bargain bin Bonjwas versus the big naturals. We've got iNdo facing off against CrimsonJoe. Both of them are playing Zerg. And then we've got a TVT, Puppette versus Whoknows. And then we've got a PVT, SexyToad versus Pop. All right, so let's get into it. Let's do our anthem. Everyone stand up, get your beverages, take a sip, and let us bask in the greatness of the CPL anthem. And I always have to stall because I can't control anything very well. I think it's playing.
Winners rise and losers fall.
It is playing.
Reflexes sharp, minds and floor. Gamers play, this never ends.
Whew. It's different when it's a nighttime cast. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let me open up the game real quick. I already have the scoreboard, hopefully already being filled out. As I was dealing with the not muted microphone, I just want to thank those for following with Prime subs. All the money that comes from Prime subs, all of that just gets bundled up, and we're going to use it as soon as we get our first payout to pay for a tournament with Starcraft Underground. So let me go ahead and get this replay up. We'll start kicking ass. Also, CPL has been a great time. This cast actually is happening a little bit later because I was watching some CPL matches that are ongoing right now. And it's just so much fun. Okay. What did I save it as? Here we go. Okay, cool. We're going to start off with iNdo versus CrimsonJoe. And let's go ahead and transfer us over there. Let's get desktop audio up and running. Live PC. We'll do okay. All right, we're going to be on Eclipse. Eclipse is going to be the first map. And it's going to be a ZVZ. And if you haven't been checking out ZVZ, or if you have thoughts about watching ZVZ, I highly recommend watching Artosis Cast, his most recent video. It's pretty interesting. He did like a sponsored series where he had the different players. It was Hawk and Striker playing against each other. They did like game 1, no Mutalisks allowed, and then game 2, no Zerglings, and then game like 3 through 5, no Zerglings or Mutalisks, and just kind of seeing how the ZVZ kind of like interacted from that. It was a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and get into the game. Up here in the top right, our blue Zerg is CrimsonJoe, representing Big Naturals. And down here in the bottom left, we've got iNdo, the red Zerg, representing the Bargain Bin Bonjwas. Now, if you watch this cast periodically, the last time I casted, we did the same team matchup, but we only did half the tier. So this is the second half of the players in Tier 3 that played during Week 3 between these two teams. And I don't even remember the record before then, so I don't know which team's leading at this point. All right. Looks like iNdo's up by a couple drones. That would be because CrimsonJoe has already started his spawning pool. Overlord's about to head towards each other, headbutt, slap tentacles, do their secret OV handshake. Spawning pool going down for iNdo. And I have no doubt in my mind that unlike Artosis' cast that he was doing, we're going to see a lot of Zerglings. That's my bet. ZVZ, definitely the matchup that keeps me from ever wanting to play Zerg. I think Zerg is a great race to play, but I cannot stand playing the mirror matchup of this. Likely see an expansion here from our red Zerg. There he goes. Getting that second hatchery is going to be key when it comes to just larva availability. Now, CrimsonJoe also getting a second hatchery, but his is going up in his main base. So going to miss out on the earlier economy that iNdo will likely benefit from here at his natural. And the opportunity to put Sunkens out here if the need for that arises. Something else to just keep in mind is that keeping that hatchery up here in the main, it not only limits his ability to mine from 2 mineral lines, but also utilize creep. But if he's going some sort of turtley strategy where he's going to race up to Mutalisks or something of the sort, this may work out well for him. Continuing to have 2 on gas here for iNdo. Zergling count sitting at 8 and 10. And it looks like CrimsonJoe just getting ready to take his own expansion down here. Now, iNdo's going to be seeing all of this with his Overlord. Overlord for CrimsonJoe also making it across, and he's going to be very aware at how much earlier iNdo took his. Right? He's seeing that one pop. He's going to come in here. He's going to see the layer morphing. No layer as of yet for CrimsonJoe, and no gas being mined either. I think CrimsonJoe is now approaching a clock where he needs to start going in there and getting damage with some Zerglings. But iNdo is going to be the one to take the initiative here. He's heading up top right. Come on, I was trying to click on one of these guys. There we go. He's going to be taking the fight to CrimsonJoe. Oh, is he going to be able to run right by? Gets a good surround there on the top portion of CrimsonJoe's Zerglings. Huge scuffle here at the natural for our blue Zerg. And it looks like CrimsonJoe did come out on top in that little engagement. Now he's going to take it, do the Zerg ping pong, as I like to refer to it, where the Zerglings just go up, numbers deplete, and they go straight across the map to the other base. And that's what's happening right now. CrimsonJoe is going to be heading straight over to iNdo's natural. Now, in response, iNdo is going to be having to throw down a sunken colony and also utilize more larvae for Zerglings. But that layer is up. I want to point out. And iNdo does have plenty of gas. He just needs to survive this, keep these Zerglings out of his natural. Looks like he's doing a real good job of whittling down CrimsonJoe's Zergling count. Even going to try to push towards CrimsonJoe's base. A little bit of backstab opportunity here. Nothing crazy, though. A few more being rallied across. But once the Spire's done, CrimsonJoe's going to be in some serious trouble. Alright, iNdo able to aggro out a few of CrimsonJoe's Zerglings, isolating them. Now, these Zerglings are going to try to run by the Sunken and are successful. Crimson might be getting a whole lot of damage here on the drones of iNdo. Now, iNdo's having to run back with his meager amount of Zerglings, and CrimsonJoe may have just completely flipped the script here on this game. Now, the Spire is still coming down, but this is what we were talking about earlier, right? Where CrimsonJoe was on a clock, and I think CrimsonJoe recognized that and is making his move and making it now. Now, he's trying to target down this Sunken colony. It's about to die, but there's only one Zergling left, and it does get cleaned up. And it looks like iNdo is going to be able to survive this initial push. I don't think these 3 Zerglings are going to be enough to add any significant damage to this attack. And that leaves iNdo with 8 drones, which happens to be the same amount that CrimsonJoe has. So CrimsonJoe, most of his supply is really in the Zergling count that he's been able to pile up. But the Zerglings aren't going to matter a whole lot once these Mutalisks pop. What I'd like to see from CrimsonJoe is these Zerglings getting consolidated and a big push right now. Now, iNdo has kind of walled off his Sunken with these Zerglings, which is a really good idea because he needs to keep this alive to hold off this push for as long as possible. But here comes CrimsonJoe now, trying to target down the Sunken. It is going to die, and now he is just laying waste to the drones. First mute is out, but that's not a whole lot of DPS. iNdo is down to 2 drones and not enough money to make anything else. I think CrimsonJoe has done this. Even if this Mutalisk were to be completely uncontested for the rest of this game, CrimsonJoe is just going to be able to knock out all the buildings. There's, what, 5 buildings on the map? These Zerglings are going to go through those like a hot knife through butter. And this is definitely going to be a CrimsonJoe victory. Sweet game. There it is. iNdo throws in the GG. Boom! Let's go to game number 2. Once I do all the admin nonsense. Man, I'm glad we are getting to watch the rest of these. Which one is CrimsonJoe? CrimsonJoe is the blue Zerg, so naturally he's red on my score sheet, because that's how this always works. Is it going to change? Boom! It changed. That was a fun game. Let's double check the scorecard. Don't know where it went. Let's just go to the next game. Yeah, that was a fun game. Heavy Zergling on Zergling action into an attempt to race towards Mutalisks into just an overwhelming flood of Zerglings. Now, this next map, we are going to be on Polestar. And I am looking forward to it. Let's send you guys over there, too. I'm trying to fix the scoreboard. There it is. CrimsonJoe is up by 1, and we are on Polestar. All right, everything should look good now. Let's get back into the game. So for this one, representing Bargain Bin Bonjwas, we've got our red Zerg, iNdo, up in the top right. Now in the top left, we've got our blue Zerg, CrimsonJoe, who just came off that victory on, what was it, Eclipse? So one of the things that we're going to see differently here is that Eclipse is obviously a 2-player map, right? It has its own kind of meta game surrounding that. This is a 4-player map in Polestar, and they're also in relatively close spawns, being horizontally across from each other. So we'll see how this goes for both of them. Now, last game we saw iNdo go. I think he went hatchery first. I think he went hatchery before hitting his spawning pool, whereas we saw CrimsonJoe. It was either an over pool or just a 9 pool, but he got his spawning pool on 9. Looks like we're gonna have that over pool again, and same for iNdo this time. Okay, so mirrored builds for both. One difference that we do see: CrimsonJoe is sending an Overlord across and is gonna get the first scout here on our red Zerg. And we're just chilling. We are just chilling. And get these high octane games out of your system now, because the next series after this, I don't know how long it's going to take. To be completely honest, I didn't look at the times. I've got time tonight. Figured finish off the second half of this tier 3 matchup. But the next one is a TVT. And TVTs, in general, go a long time. And you never know. I'm pouring out some of that pink lemonade box drink that I mentioned earlier that a buddy of mine left, and I have no idea how it's going to taste. Yeah. It's actually pretty good. It's just not cold. That's why I poured it into some ice. So we're going to mix that with the coffee, and we're going to keep this party going. All right. Let's go ahead and make sure everything is looking good here. We've got a whole grip of Zerglings. We're going straight into a second hatchery down here at the natural for iNdo. Now, obviously I was babbling on about this drink and stuff, and so I don't actually know if iNdo has been over here, but because of the Overlord, I feel like iNdo's going to have a pretty good idea that he's at this base, especially since he did scout the bottom right. And so he's got a Zergling heading over here to confirm, make sure he knows what he's up against, and what he's going to see is that CrimsonJoe has no expansion, even after building 2 additional hatcheries himself. And he's going to think, wow, that's kind of weird. CrimsonJoe is going to have a whole shit ton of Zerglings up there. Now, this looks very similar to last game in the sense where CrimsonJoe had that superior link count. iNdo came across, CrimsonJoe schwacked him, ran, did the ping pong over to iNdo's base, and that was kind of the big turning point. He was able to get damage, put a lot of damage on the sunken colony, come back later and knock it out before the Mutalisks could get to a critical mass. This time we're seeing it a little bit different. iNdo runs across and he runs right back home. So, preserving his forces a lot better than last match. We'll have to see what that adds up to. Right now, both players on the same supply, but iNdo does have 2 more drones and does have a sunken down here at the natural. Okay, so a little bit more tougher to break on the ground with these Zerglings. You ever eat like a lot of food and then I try to talk a lot? I feel like my body is like forgetting to breathe. I had I went out on a limb and just tried to make pho on my own tonight. It sounded really good. I wanted something kind of spicy and hot. And so I was like, wow, pho would nail it. And so like I went to the store, I got everything I needed, and you know what? It nailed it. It was delicious. But I ate so much of it. But it was good. Now obviously it was like a quick pho. I'd like to like go deep into it and make like a legitimate long cooked broth that goes with it and everything. But anyway, that's my story, and that's why I'm struggling to speak, and why I might be sweating profusely. So we've got 2 creep colonies going down here in the main. We've got another creep colony going down here at the natural. That does keep CrimsonJoe 2 drones behind iNdo. It looks like iNdo's also upping his creep colony count down here at the natural. Now what's interesting here, now he does have this Overlord over here scouting. And And we see this actually become a spore colony over here for CrimsonJoe. That's why I think this one isn't morphed, right? There's no evolution chamber as of yet for iNdo. But this gives the option for him to slap down an evolution chamber, get this into a spore colony in the event that he becomes threatened by air. Double spore colony. Now, I feel like these are a little bit early. Not really a ZVZ expert, but the Overlords have perfect information. Okay, there's the Spire now. This has been a wild game, in the sense that neither player wants to go fight. Another spore colony. Is it gonna kill this Ovi? Okay. Just beat it up real good. Another spore colony. I don't know if you can win this way. I'm curious what the plan is here for CrimsonJoe. iNdo is now starting to get a pretty significant economic lead. He's up 7 drones, which is, you know, almost a third more of the worker count than CrimsonJoe. Or, like, puts CrimsonJoe at, like, 2/3. You know what I'm saying. It's a lot. Big double Evo chamber here. We're having a big move out from Lings, but I want to check a couple things. We have the Spire almost done. Second gas almost done. And a whole bunch of larvae waiting. Okay? That's what we're going to be leaving the space thinking about. Now let's go ahead and head over here to CrimsonJoe. Now, a whole bunch of Lings. Potentially more Lings than he has. No sunken colonies. A bunch more Lings being made. CrimsonJoe might just die. iNdo's Zerglings are just mowing through this. Okay, finally gets to a point where the Zerglings have hatched for CrimsonJoe and they come to reinforce. That's going to shoo away iNdo's remaining Lings. But iNdo's about to have a whole bunch of air now. Now, the air is not going to crush this base quickly. He's going to need like a shit ton of Mutalisks if he wants to push through spores. But what it is going to be able to do is it's going to be able to completely contain CrimsonJoe. It's going to be able to prevent him from utilizing any Mutalisk play of his own. It's going to allow for third bases to get out here on the map. And he's going to be able to knock out some of these Overlords and continue to potentially supply block the player that's already kind of behind economically. So the air superiorities can be huge. The spores are going to be a huge pain in the butt to break through, but it doesn't really need to do a lot of damage. We do have the Hydralisk Den going down. An additional evolution chamber. Got 4 drones on gas up here. Yeah, see? Mutalisks can just park out here. The spores are pretty powerful. They're pretty tough. So, gonna need a lot more if we're gonna want to bully through those as CrimsonJoe. Alright, Hydra Den's down. We have Hydralisk speed being researched. iNdo is going to take the time, send his Mutalisks all around the map, going looking for ninja bases. He's not going to find any, right? We know there's nothing there. Continuing to drone. So this creep colony actually did become a sunken once the air superiority was gained. I kind of liked keeping that as a creep colony until the last minute, right? Like initially he couldn't do anything about it because he didn't have an evolution chamber, but once he eventually did, he still made the decision. You know, he had the flexibility to choose. Okay, well, what makes the most sense for me now? As opposed to, I think CrimsonJoe, who went very early into throwing down the creep colonies and the spore colonies, maybe preemptively. Another hatchery going down. We're going to have 3 in the main, a 4th down here in the natural. And this is a strange, again, I don't see a lot of ZVZs like this. It just seems very standoffish. Yeah, that is a hive. We've got Hive Zerg, baby. This is the longest ZVZ I've ever seen. It's 10 minutes and 47 seconds. We're getting a Nidus Canal. Where's he going? Well, those bases are right around the block from each other. Oh, but what if he Nidus Canals into the other base? Oh, that would be sick! I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for that. I don't even know if he has, like, Overlord transport capabilities. Alright, we got more Zergling, or not Zerglings, drones heading over here. Saturating the third base. Ultralisk Cavern, that's the direction he's going. Now, are Ultras great in ZVZ? These are things I don't see often. I don't actually know if Ultras are good. I'm trying to think. Do Ultras hit multiple units at once? I think they do, right? Because I feel like a whole horde of Zerglings might just be way more cost efficient against Ultralisks. Okay, he's waiting to use this. But where is it? Okay. Poking in with the mutas, getting the lay of the land, seeing what's going on in CrimsonJoe's base. They do have Hydralisks being incorporated into the army. Ooh, found a nice little dead zone here. I am shocked that Spore Colony's not hitting it. Okay, now it's starting to open fire. Gonna get a lot of free drones here. It does knock the drone count down to 23 for CrimsonJoe. Kind of a cruddy spot to be in. Ultralisks have hit the table. We've got Hive Zerg, Ultralisks being produced. Oh, did I miss it? He did put a Nidus somewhere? That is awesome. And a cool idea. Okay, here we go. We have a move out. This is going to make or break it for CrimsonJoe. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks, they're in no rush. They're in no hurry. But if the Mutalisks can cut off reinforcements... Okay, now also, CrimsonJoe's opting to go for the third, which happens to have 4 Sunkens. Unfortunately, coming in a little bit in like a Congo line. Not fully utilizing the surface area here, but I think that he does have enough to take out this third. But reinforcements are coming for iNdo. In the form of Ultralisks, baby! Here they come. Slicing and dicing through these Hydralisks. And I don't know, maybe Crimson might just GG after the attack. I don't know if we're going to wait and see this whole army, you know, do the crackback. CrimsonJoe still getting some damage in here, though. Not entirely cleaned up. But he also has basically a giant rocket ship of Zerglings heading towards his natural. Now, the Hydralisks are doing what they can, but there's no Sunkens. There's no Sunkens. There's no... there's really not much that can fend off these Ultralisks. So, mutas are joining the fight. Between the Zerglings and the Ultralisks, the Spore Colonies are getting, you know, completely mulched. And that's gonna even up our series. That was a sweet game. People always talk about, like, Hive Zerg, oh, you never see it. Zerg games never go that long. Well, this one did, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got another game after this. Let's head on out of this replay. Let's get us geared up for game number 3 in our first series of the night. Okay, we're ready over there. And then let me change this to 1-1. Badass, man. Shoot a machine gun on peyote. Badass. What map are we on? I think This is Radion. This is Radion, right? I'll lose my mind. No, it's knockout. I knew it didn't look right. Ugh. There we go. Now the scoreboard is correct. I need to look at these things before I just hit play. All right, so up here, let's go ahead and unreveal the map again. In the top left, we have our red Zerg iNdo representing the bargain bin Bonjwas. In the bottom left, we've got CrimsonJoe, the Zerg representing the big naturals, the biggest of naturals. Learning Lab, yeah, man. Jump on into CPL. It's a great time. And jump into Starcraft Underground if you're not a part of that either. But either way, good to see you. All right, seeing the same old. Or maybe not. Looks like CrimsonJoe might be going for 12 hatch or 12 fool. And CrimsonJoe will also get the first scout off. Cool, cool, super fun. Let's try some of this lemonade. It's not bad. It's not bad, everybody. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Reminds me of kind of like a margarita. And you gotta say it like that too, margarita. All right, we've got expansions going down for both Zerg players. Spawning pool just now being completed for CrimsonJoe. The one for iNdo has been completed for a minute. 4 Zerglings being produced and sent straight across. Or maybe not. Okay, so they're actually going to be sitting at home. He's compiling them up a little bit. He's got 6 altogether now. He still is a little bit blind to what CrimsonJoe is up to. His overlord hasn't seen any of CrimsonJoe's stuff, and he hasn't sent like a secondary drone to scout either. iNdo actually investing a good amount here into Zerglings. I guess this is early ZVZ. I think that last match really kind of screwed me up. Seeing it go straight into the freaking hive and everything is nuts. Okay. So CrimsonJoe has not played either of the matches so far like this. He's getting 2 hatcheries down at his natural. A little bit earlier than before. He's actually leading in drones, I think, for the first time in the series. And wow, that Zergling just threads the needle, heads straight up here into the main, and is going to get a full scout. He's going to know the gas isn't up yet, which he's already mining his own, right? So that's one of those things where it's easy to compare yourself to your opponent and be like, huh, maybe I can do mutas. Or sit back, build spores, and get ultralisks. And these are the points where those decisions are made. So 2 hatcheries here in the natural. A whole bunch of Zerglings. A whole bunch of them. Can't believe that Zergling made it back. He's coming back, telling his homies all the things he saw. None of them believe him, because he's always lying about stuff like that. But for real, he made it all the way in and out. And now we wait. More Zerglings being produced. You know, I'm looking at the supplies. CrimsonJoe has more supply, only down by 1 drone. It just looks like iNdo has more wings, but I guess not. I guess red just looks scarier. Nice big old wall here. CrimsonJoe is sending a pair. to just double check on what's going on. Now these are all in hold position. Wow, that you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of like if you've ever played sports and like ran down a line of people and like hit their hands like high five. That's what those Zerglings did. They were just like, yeah, to their death. But they brought buddies. So let's go ahead and see how this goes. Hydras! iNdo's going straight into the Hydras. Yeah, exactly, Tribe. The post-soccer game GG's. Yeah, that Zerg was like, yeah, GG, dead. And then exploded. Ooh, we've got a hole down here. But I gotta say, iNdo's Zergling's doing well. Okay, I'm always wrong. Every time I'm wrong. Alright, the Hydra and the Sunken really changing the combat math there for CrimsonJoe. He's gonna end up losing this Overlord because of the direction that it ended up going. And I don't know if that's gonna supply block him. No, it brings him down to 23 of 27. Back on even supply. CrimsonJoe with a little bit of the larger armory, but less sophisticated as the Hydralisks are here with iNdo's. I haven't seen any tech up from CrimsonJoe. Looks like we're kind of staying that low worker count. Mass Zergling. This is what we saw game 1. Right, this is what we saw CrimsonJoe succeed with. But this time, there's Hydralisks. Hydralisks obviously being easier to tech into, faster to tech into than the Mutas. And with the early scouting, iNdo knew that CrimsonJoe was not racing up into lair. So again, with the Hydra and the Sunken, like this Sunken, I wish it had a kill counter. Because it would be at least 1. It has been doing work. Check out up here. We have Zergling speed on the way for our red Zerg. And CrimsonJoe's just yeeting lings. He's a ling eater. A lot of gas for iNdo. I don't know if he's still mining gas. No, he's not. It looks like he's readjusted. Now, taking this fight over and over and over again on this Sunken, I don't think is going to be successful for CrimsonJoe. And honestly, I think right now, iNdo has a moment of opportunity where he can just completely reverse yeet and do a lot of damage to CrimsonJoe. Because CrimsonJoe doesn't have any Sunkens. There are no static defense up here. There's only a few lings out on the board, which I feel like is rather telegraphed from the number of times that the attack has come and kind of crashed up against this wall of lings. 2 more going to go down for CrimsonJoe, and here we go. Here comes that counter attack. Now we got to be careful. This Overlord actually saving the day, keeping these Hydralisks back at home. But there's just not much here for CrimsonJoe, unfortunately, and I think just looking, it's pretty easy to see iNdo is going to run away with this one. Going straight up into the main. Kind of splitting between both bases. And CrimsonJoe left the game. GG. iNdo is going to take the series 2-1 and earn a big fat W for his team. Where's my Streamlabs? There it is. Let's go ahead and change scenes for everybody. Ha! Look at that. There I am. And let's go ahead and change the score. iNdo. 2-1. GG's. GG's, everybody. All right. Now, that was our fun, super fast, uber exciting ZVZ. Now let's put on our thinking caps. Let's act like true scholarly gentlemen and fight the way this game was meant to be fight. We have a TVT coming up between Puppette, Puppette, and Whoknows. We get to see real Starcraft. Go ahead and get it started up. Alright, Puppette versus Whoknows. Game 1. It's going to be on Eclipse. Let me go ahead and change the score chart thingy. Terran. It's going to be Puppette versus Whoknows. Rock to top. What are you talking about? What tier are you? And Eclipse. I'm Bernie Wurzburg of E3. Oh, that's aren't you? You're on build disorders, right? That's why. That's why. Yeah, I'm avoiding all matchups against Zero Effort Zealot Rush because I can't handle to have my games cast. No, you're on Bargain Bin Bonjwas? Did I do you last time? Did you even play in week 3? Alright, you know what? You let me know. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and get this game started for the players that I am casting, which is going to be Puppette versus Whoknows on Eclipse. Yeah, rock to top. I'm trying to remember if I casted you last time, but I thought I had them all. There were 6 matches, 3 last time, 3 this time. All right, here we go. Puppette versus Helter Skelter, who is apparently that's Whoknows, right? Is Helter Skelter up in the top right? Helter Skelter is Whoknows representing the Big Naturals, and Puppette, our red Terran, representing the Bargain Bin Bonjwas, which is Rock to Top's teammate. Fun fact. Who's also a tier 3 player. Now, I am just hoping against hope both these players BBS each other. Just a straight barracks supply depot, both of them in the middle. Make for a nice, quick, aggressive, exciting game full of fireworks. But since it's the first 3 minutes of a Terran versus Terran match, hydrate. This is your friendly reminder to hydrate. And also a friendly reminder, if you haven't used a Prime sub, I would greatly appreciate your Prime sub. I'm trying to take all these Prime subs, pool the money, and utilize the funds, 100% of the funds, to fund Starcraft Underground monetary tournaments. I think last time I checked, we were at $14.50, and I think the payouts happen at like $50. So once it hits $50, we'll do the first one of those. And if you're a fan of CPL and you have not heard of Starcraft Underground, check the Twitch page. There should be a Discord link up there. It's for Starcraft Brood War and Starcraft 2, and it has 2 big things. 1, flexible match scheduling for all brackets. Every match you have a week to schedule. And 2, there's always a bracket to sign up for. It's a great time. Alrighty, so pretty standard stuff over here for Helter Skelter. And would you look at that? My goodness. Look at this. Look at these lines. They're like exactly the same with the exception that Helter Skelter is in the mid 400s on APM. Ah, see Rock to Top? Oh. I needed to auto mod your thing. I don't know if that's a curse word in another language, but lucky for you, I don't speak it. So, slipping it through the auto mod. Yeah, gotcha. I think I casted week 2, but maybe not your team. Sorry about that. Week 2, I don't think had a whole lot of casting. There's been kind of a lack of casting. I think I'm the only one so far that's done week 3 of any of the tiers. Polish for shit. Nice. The only Polish words I know is Chciałabym piwa. Prussia. Chciałabym piwa. Which I think means I would like beer. Or a beer. Poland is a great country. I really enjoyed it there. Alright, we got a barracks going down. We had an SCV up here in the top right. And it's just gonna make it. Man, Puppette really pulling the strings here on his opponent. Getting in, seeing what he wanted to see, and getting out. Really disappointed that both these players aren't doing anything cheesy, though, on a 2-player map. It really sets us up for quite a grindy TVT, which are also fun in their own way. But we will find out. Initial Vulture coming out here for Puppette. Going into a second one before getting a Machine Shop as well. Meanwhile, Machine Shop is down after the first... I guess there's no Vulture. We're going straight into Machine Shop. for Helter Skelter. We'll have to keep an eye on what direction of upgrades he wants to go. Now, also an engineering bay somewhere. There it is. Using it to try to wall off his natural a little bit. That's a little interesting. Maybe getting a couple turrets just to protect against any type of Wraith play. Or really, he just wants to use it to block off this wall. Okay. Hitting the SCV transfer, we do have that machine shop built now and a second factory for Puppette. Still no second factory for our Blue Terran. A lot of those funds went into getting an early tank. So, does have an early tank, also getting siege mode first. Meanwhile, we have Puppette going kind of the Vulture War route, right? Getting a Vulture speed, getting a third factory somewhere. Or am I misseeing that? Oh, I guess it was that one finishing up. So still at 2 factories right here. I don't see anything down here. A couple supply depots. There's the third factory. Okay, so we're seeing kind of a 3-factory Vulture build here from Puppette. And then up here, a little bit more of a different build. Kind of like a Tank Goliath FE type build is kind of what it's looking like. Also getting an Academy. Looks like Helter Skelter is just getting a bit of everything at the moment. But doing just fine. Really staying on top of SCV production, sitting at 31 of 28. The Vultures aren't going to be able to really get much done up here with this tank, especially since Siege Mode's done. And there's 2 of them. And there's a wall. But what the Vultures can do is they can start planting mines all over the place and really slow any type of tank push that may, you know, come Puppette's direction. Now, Puppette now just getting mines researched. Continuing with Vulture production, pumping them out 3 at a time. And it looks like we've got some scans going off. So Helter Skelter did scan and has seen both of these portions of Puppette's base. So really all that's confirming is that he's going 3 factory and that he's on 2 bases and that he's not facing any type of starport at the moment. Okay, this is just weird. Second engineering bay is a little odd to me. But I have no doubt there's a reason. And my god, I love it. Maybe we're just going massive, massive bio. Maybe that's the plan. It's an additional overlord, basically. Sorry, I was sipping on my strange lemonade drink. Alright, Vultures flying all over the place. Tanks, Vultures, SCVs pushing out. Now this is going to be a little bit tough to deal with. I think. I don't know. Once Puppette gets an idea that this is out on the map, he could actually be a huge pain in the ass back home. Right? There's nothing here. A tank and a Vulture? It'd be a little bit of a troublesome engagement. And also, this is going to get sandwiched here by all these Vultures. Oh, but he gets an opening volley. Okay, now if these Vultures come up here and start dropping mines on top of these tanks, he could be in for a rough day. Getting a couple turrets thrown down here at the edge of this high ground. And he's not pursuing these tanks. These tanks are going to start getting some free shots. And doing a lot of damage. Oh, okay. And yeah, if he just unsieges and gets away from this mine. Ooh, not quite getting away from it. But most of the Vultures getting annihilated with those mines as well. It's just hilarious how bad Vultures are against tanks, just in a straight up fight, right? Like if you remove mines from the equation, like that Vulture would have taken forever to kill this guy. Okay, so what's left? We've got an SCV, we've got a turret, we've got a tank. Sweet. Back home, we've got a couple tanks, we've got a Goliath, we've got a Vulture. Second engineering bay. On top of it. Now for Puppette, we're getting a third base. Pretty sneaky behind this, which feels like a contain, right? That SCV must have snuck right out. Or it might have happened just before the push. I kind of missed it. Now, Puppette is getting their own tank count up. Getting some Vultures. Still on 3 factories. Getting +1 attack. I don't think... Yeah, so like these SCV transfers are happening completely secret to Helter Skelter, missing all of it. I say that and then he just completely plops the scan. Vulture's trying to find some purchase here. Trying to break this contain. You want to call it a contain. It's becoming a contain. Attempted contain. And oh man, getting the first volley there with those tanks is going to put Helter Skelter in a great position to really lock the door here. Goliath, pretty tanky, good against vultures. But they're just kind of eating siege tank shots. I like that Helter Skelter's kind of repositioning. It looks like he's going towards this third base, though, rather than just repositioning for that to, like, seal this contain. A lot of times you'll see players kind of lock this down and then peel off a component of it to hit the exposed third base. This looks like Helter Skelter's just like, send them. Send them all. And luckily he brought Goliaths, because he'll actually be able to shoot this down. This tank's sneaking up on these other tanks. This is wild. Right here, the situation where these tanks can't even shoot this one. This should not be allowed to happen. Oh man, kind of a lucky little exchange there for Helter Skelter. And taking out that third base, he's going to be able to come back to this natural, really lay on the contain, and he's getting his own third. So really liking the position of Helter Skelter now. Up at 6 factories, has a starport, has a science facility. We'll double check upgrades here. He is on 1-0. Looks like he's going up to 1-1. And that's it! Puppette says no mas! Throws in the towel, GG. And that's going to be 1-0 for Helter Skelter, representing the big naturals. Alright, let me go ahead and update that. Skadoosh. And Helter Skelter also being Whoknows on this scorecard. Okay, and then let's go into game number 2. All right, we have Helter Skelter versus Puppette on Polestar. All right, good stuff. Down here in the bottom left, we've got Helter Skelter, also known as Whoknows, representing the big naturals. Just coming off that win, needs one more. Secures a series of victory for the naturals. And Puppette up here representing Bargain Bin Bonjwas, the top left. 4-player map. Let's see what they do. Still holding out for some BBS action. There's always time for BBS action. Also, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. If you're American, American Thanksgiving was this last Thursday. It's a good time. All right, we got Supply Depot going down. Both players, everything just being completely mirrored, with the exception of Helter Skelter's 4,500 APM. Catch his fingertips on fire. There's just really not much to talk about in the first couple of minutes of a TVT. Got Supply Depot, we got gas, They're scouting on 12-ish, 13-ish, It does look like Helter Skelter's going to be going straight north. Going to be running into Puppette's base. Getting a first scout. Also just a little bit early. Oftentimes the scout coming from a Terran's base will occur at the 13 supply mark. Here at 15, we have Puppette sending theirs out. Oh, oh. A little bit of that, like, hallway. Like, oh, you go. Nope, you go. All right, stop. Let's go right. Shimmied around each other. No Marines being produced yet. Marine for Puppette. Factory. Where's your factory? Pretty late factory here for Puppette. I think he was trying to deal with this. He was sending his Marine, trying to micro that a little bit. And also check on his scout. Helter Skelter getting his SCV in here for a second time. Going to continue the full scout. He's going to see that everything looks pretty standard. I guess he's just attacking the factory, but there is going to be an expansion going down here momentarily. And then we've already seen the expansion going down here for Helter Skelter. We'll see if he sends another SCV because he didn't make any Marines, right? And so he is going to send an SCV here to protect this expansion. It looked like he was building a machine shop and he canceled it. And now he's rebuilding it. Oh no. You know what I bet he was trying to do? I bet he was trying to hit escape over here on the SCV so that it could run away. But he had this hotkeyed, and so he hit escape and canceled the machine shop. That's my bet. Alright, doing a little bit of repositioning here. This time without additional eBays. Kind of walling up. Good defense against kind of mass vulture. Especially if you go into more of like an early tank build, which is what he's doing again. I imagine from Helter Skelter, we're not going to see much deviation. Because it worked last time. Right? So like he won the last match. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. First tank is out. Siege mode on the way. Going into 3 factory vulture again for Puppette. And where did it go wrong for Puppette last time? I think there were a couple of very specific, like tactical events that occurred that really kind of screwed it up for Puppette. Like on the initial contain, where iNdo was up on the high ground, he only had a couple tanks, his vultures were forward, his SCVs were busy building turrets. Puppette kind of came in from both sides with vultures, but then kind of like danced around, like left and came back, giving the tanks a lot of free shots, and not really utilizing the mines early, but trying to do that later. And I think that there was a lot of vultures lost that may have otherwise completely turned the tide of that battle. I think that was the first big one. And then the second one was Helter Skelter being able to knock out that third base relatively easily without much casualties. So we'll see how it goes this time. We do have a tank on the way here for Puppette. 1 already out on the field. 2 here for Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter really leaning into not utilizing early vultures. Which is fine, because vultures suck against tanks. So having a bunch of tanks and having a wall, that works. Third factory going down for Helter Skelter. Second machine shop coming up. Both players just powering up right now. Now you will see with a 3 factory kind of vulture build, the speed at which your supply goes up. You can just rock out so many more vultures at such a more rapid pace than you will doing 1 tank at a time. But now that we are going into 5 factory, oh correction, 4 factory and an eBay. Oh, it looks like Helter Skelter is going to try to expand off this. Well, anyway, the point being, we'll likely be seeing this supply deviation catch up here for Helter Skelter momentarily. So not much craziness coming here from Puppette. Puppette really just doing a good job of spending their money, getting siege, getting tanks, getting vultures, keeping all production rolling at all times, and is now moving across the field. 3 tanks, a whole bunch of vultures. What are they going to be running into? They're going to be running into 4 tanks, a Goliath, a couple more Goliaths. So Puppette has the superior army, but Helter Skelter's got this wall. Oh no, but if he moves out, the wall is what he had. Okay, gets a good first volley, but it goes on to the vultures, which we've got plenty of. We need to target fire these tanks. We need to kill the tanks. Get the vultures on the tanks. Alright, well, taking out only 1 tank. We do have another tank showing up. And it's not being target fired by Helter Skelter, so Puppette's going to be cruising through here. The wall goes back down. I feel like there's a gap here. I think Puppette's like back home macroing or something. Get the vultures through. Okay, it looked like they tried. It looks like they can. Get the tank up. Yeah, siege that puppy. Boom. SCV, rain and death time. Nice. This is looking very good for Puppette. What's going on up here in the main? 2 tanks. 2 tanks on the high ground is actually going to be a huge pain in the butt for this. Now, the wall has crumbled. The vultures are flowing in. The mines are being put down. Is this one going to land? No, the Goliaths take it out. We need to take care of these mines, guys. Okay, the Goliaths end up cleaning up those vultures. Where'd that tank go? I think it died. Helter Skelter's in this. That did not knock him out. SCV, or CC, ready for the expanding. Helter Skelter actually ahead on workers after that exchange, and even on supply between both parties. What do we have for Puppette? Got a tank here, third tank showing up, bunch of vultures, looking healthy, also getting a 3rd base. So I think Puppette's ahead right now, but only barely. And I think once this becomes saturated, which will become saturated earlier, this one's only being built, Helter Skelter will close that distance. Now, these vultures doing good work here for Puppette. Since this base just started, being able to shred these SCVs, prevent these supply depots from going down, is really annoying. But with the Goliaths and the tanks showing up, this is going to get weird. Yeah, they're not going to be able to do any more here at this 3rd base. This will have to be more of a dedicated push from Puppette if he wants to do any damage there. Oof. Alright, so Helter Skelter. Yikes. 2 HP on this tank. Ugh! That thing's a stiff breeze away from getting knocked out. Alright, we're seeing a build up forces here from Puppette. Looking to lay siege to this 3rd base. Now we gotta be careful not to get too close. Oh no, first volley goes off in the middle of their own vultures. Now, some opportunity for mines here. Now, all we gotta do is shoot this with 1 vulture. There we go. It does die. Nice mine placement, but it is getting cleared. Okay, so not the most successful attack, but it did clear the defenses that were there for Helter Skelter. But at what cost? Looks like both armies staying relatively equal. The biggest difference being the use of Goliaths rather than the use of vultures and mines. The Goliaths are pretty good against both vultures and mines. So the numbers are a little bit tough to kind of math out. Now I also want to note 1-1 here for Helter Skelter with +2 on the way. So there is going to be a pretty big power spike coming up here once this upgrade is complete. Now for Puppette, we've got +1 with +1 armor on the way. So a little bit behind on upgrades. 3rd base hasn't been scouted, I don't think. And it is slowly becoming saturated. So good news story there for Puppette. Let's go ahead and check out these bases. Let's see what's been developing here. We're going up to 7 factories for our Blue Terran. We do have a starport. We've got our double armory. Excellent. Science facility. Amazing. And up here for our red player, we are still sitting on 5 factories. No additional tech. Puppette has been banking a little bit of minerals. And really, I think putting a lot of their focus on pushing into Helter Skelter, trying to knock out that third base, trying to deal with this fight that's come to his front yard. Sending vultures around the map. So, a little due for some home maintenance. I mean, Puppette still is ahead on supply, even though Helter Skelter's way ahead on workers, 51 to 38, which tells us Puppette has a large army. But a lot of that is all vultures. He's got tons and tons of vultures, which is helpful if you want to like break a siege, but you do still need the siege tanks to back them up. Because vultures in a tank fight fall very quickly. Alright, Helter Skelter repositioning on the map towards the middle of the map. Curious if he's going to seal this off or if he's going base hunting. Might be going base hunting. We'll check in on them later depending on where they go. Actually, I want to check in on where the scans have gone. Okay, so Helter Skelter did scan this 12 o'clock base and is undoubtedly heading there with this army. Now, there's nothing here to defend. It is sealed off, which makes it slow and annoying to break through. But he's got plenty of tanks, tons of Goliaths, and now Puppette thinks there's an opening, but there's not. This stronghold is still here. And now these vultures are going to be diving straight into a bunch of Goliaths and tanks. Honestly, Helter Skelter just has units everywhere. Now, decent opportunity here for these vultures and these tanks to trap this army up here at the 12. Looks like that's getting cleaned up very quickly. No need to siege up here, just run right through it. Vultures are knocking it out. Goliaths firing back are going to clean up the vultures, and the base does ultimately die, which sucks really bad for Puppette. That is not what you were looking for. Now, this foothold here being very effective, but you can just see the number of tanks coming through. Oh no, I don't think you needed to siege there. I mean, it's going to make quick work of those front two, but I think that would have been done just fine on the move. And there it is. Puppette throws in the GG. Great Terran versus Terran games. And that's the series. Helter Skelter, our man. Who knows? Gets the series 2-0 for the Big Naturals. Congratulations. Let's go back to the scoreboard. And so for tonight, it looks like the Bargain Bin Bonjwas and the Big Naturals each have a W tonight's series. So right now, next up, we've got a PVT, our first introduction of the Protoss race into tonight's series. PVT is a fun matchup. It'll be a good one to end the night on. Let me go ahead and get our in-game scorecard looking good. So we got SexyToad. I mean, aren't all toads sexy? Like, am I right? Versus Pop. Excellent. Terran. This is going to be on Eclipse. This is going to be our first map. Okay, everything looks good. Let's go ahead, open up that replay. Those were pretty quick TVTs. I think both matches, I don't think either one went above like 15 minutes. Yeah, actually, let's check. The last one was 15 minutes, and the one before that was about 11. So, pretty quick series. Alright, next up we've got SexyToad versus Pop. PVT. We've got Eclipse coming up first. Let's get into it. I don't think I like the nighttime casting as much. I feel like we get more people during the day. I feel like on weekends people want to be playing, you know, not watching. I don't know, maybe I'm misreading. Either way, Red Protoss. Up in the top right of Eclipse is our SexyToad, representing the Bargain Bin Bonjwas. Now down here for the Big Naturals, we've got our blue Terran Pop, looking to stick it to the SexyToad. It looks like we're going to be building a forward pylon. I wonder if this is going to go in straight like forward 2 gate. I mean, it is Eclipse after all. You gotta be pretty aggressive. See what comes up here. I imagine it's just gonna be a gateway. Yep. Gateway. We'll see if there's a second one, or if we go a simulator core. Oh, what is he doing? Oh, okay. I thought maybe he'd be like building something up here. I was actually watching KCM the other night. Oh, gas steal! Rude! We've got 2 SCVs fighting to knock that down. This is oppressive. Protoss can do anything. Insert Protoss hate here. This is annoying. And then it just gets canceled. It's like what, like 15 minerals to do this to Terran? Or I guess you don't cancel it, right? He didn't. Yeah, it's probably better, honestly, not to. Because it takes forever to deal with. Now, we do have the 1 gateway. It does look like we're going a simulator core. I was thinking maybe it would be 2 gate. Not looking to be the case right now. Or at least not with like zealots. Pure zealots. We're gonna come over here and help shoot down this assimilator. Now see how Pop responds to this. Because by now he'd already want to have a factory. So he's already like well screwed up on his build. The gas steal is super annoying. And so we'll see if he goes into kind of like an expansion into factory. Which I imagine he probably will. But I guess not. 3 Marines. We go head out front here. Yeah, okay, it does look like he's going to expand. Probably expand, bunker. Like, you've got time. Like, you got to wait for this gas to build up. Okay. Looks like a zealot poked in, but the 3 Marines are more than enough. Spook them. We've got Dragoon range coming up. We've got the 2nd gateway. So we're going to definitely want a bunker here. It looks like the SCV is here and prepped. But we're also just now getting the funds to throw down a factory. Which is what this bad boy is going to do. Boom, factory. Boom, nothing because we're broke. We got to wait. But he's ready to throw down that bunker. Alright, Dragoon production is underway. That's nifty. SCV... too broad to make it through. Got the first... oh! Never mind. They changed their minds. Alright. Marines get in the bunker. Zealots hang out front. Zealot goon. Coming in. See how aggressive he'll be with it. He's got a 2nd goon coming in as well. Because there's a world where he might be able to poke in with the goons and then run the zealots by. And the reason why the zealots are going to be so powerful right now is the fact that we have no vultures. Right? Like the first vulture is going to be coming out. 2nd factory being built. Man. Life after gas steal is rough. Okay, let's see how this goes. Looks like he's just going to push right past the bunker. SCV kind of inadvertently getting in the way there very briefly. Okay, the vulture's here, but the goons have nothing else to focus on. Trying to vulture micro his heart out right now. Pop might just get this zealot. Needs to get the zealot. Zealot's gonna go down, right? Good micro there with the vulture. Not sure where the other zealot is. Ah, there he is. Killing everything. He's at 2 kills right now. 3 kills. SCVs are doing their best. Honestly, not the worst hold. There's stuff going on all over the place, right? The vulture dies. These Marines are going to probably die, mostly. But at the end of it, we've got a Marine vulture. We got another vulture. As far as SCVs are concerned, we lost, what, 3? And Protoss has nothing. Is down 9 workers. I feel like that almost negated kind of the advantage Protoss had from the gas steal. But very high risk, high reward. We just ended up to pay out a little bit more on the risk side this time. Alright, so 2 goons. Vultures are going to go play around the map. Hopefully this one doesn't go just get schwacked. Looks like it might just die. Is there anything at home? Yeah, a couple of goons going to be ready. But I want to see tanks. So does Pop. He's getting his first tank out. Getting mines researched. They're not researched yet. Needs to be careful about this rally. Got lucky there with those missed shots. I think both of those goons actually missed their shots. Only 1 Marine in this bunker. But we have a tank. We have a Vulture. Terran has stabilized. See if he can save the bunker. Yeah, he gets there on time. I don't think SexyToad is paying attention here. Okay. Now we're finally starting the Dragoon bunker dance. I feel like this game just, like, returned to the normal state of a TVP match. Okay. Give up the Vulture there. But we do have mines out. That's what that telegraphed to the world there. We've got a few mines here outside the front of the Protoss Natural. Could see a world where mining up this area is pretty good. We have these for early warning. He might, after he starts getting pinged here, he might run off and go hit potential expansions, like come up here, mine that up. Ooh! Absolutely enormous. 4 goons get blasted. And the shame of it is that there was an observer right there. Oh my gosh. It's moments like that that make losing entire tank lines to mine drags worth it for Terran. Watching goons pop. Getting some mines down here on the expansions. Can be very helpful for just observation in general, but especially knowing when they're starting to expand around the map. Very cagey around these mines now, aren't we, goons? Alright, so we are up to 3 tanks here for our Terran player. Still on 2 bases. Going up to 4 factories, a 5th one on the way. And this is going to start really steamrolling out of control. I feel like Protoss needs to get some damage done or get a 3rd base. Few goons up here, just protecting against, I guess, Vulture harass. But really not serving too much of a purpose. Might go up here and clear this mine. Vultures. Oh my god, they're getting in. Oh, this has a chance to do so much damage. Like if you drop a mine here and let it run into like the zealots intermixed with the probes, you can just do so much damage. Okay, these Vultures are getting some work done. I feel like they could have gotten a lot more though. So, good job by SexyToad to shut that down because that was scary. Meanwhile, SexyToad brought a little harass of his own. He's brought a couple spider boys. They're in the main. Now, unfortunately, they are getting caught by this Terran force that is still at home chilling. One Goliath not going to be enough to kill the shuttle on its way out, and the shuttle is going to escape safely with 1 Dragoon. So, probably going to park here, maybe push this away, prevent the 3rd from going down super easily, or at least force some sort of attention from the Terran player. Now, supply is really starting to build for our Terran player off the back of this 5 factory production. Back home for the Protoss, we're only on 4 gateways. 4 gateways, getting forged, we've got observatory, and we know we have a robo facility somewhere. Where is it? Right there. Ooh, robotic support bay. Gotta get some Reavers out on the map, you know what I'm saying? Reavers. But here comes the push. Pretty good timing too, considering all the harass and the fighting and everything. Got an 11-minute push. The only big difference here from like a normal 5-fact push is we don't have the upgrades. Right? All that's been delayed. We're at 0-0 right now. But it actually kind of looks like we're happy with setting up a contain. Third base getting established here, or I should say started for our Protoss player. And we're kind of setting up the engagement area here in front of the Protoss base. Glad we have the Goliath. Do we have scanners? We do. Okay. I'd kind of like to see some SCVs up here, because this kind of crap with like Zealot bombs is mega annoying for attempted contains like this. And you can even see, right, Pop is unsieging every other siege tank to reposition them and start spreading these guys out. Like, they're too clumped. He doesn't know if there's gonna be Storm. You can expect there to be Reaver. You can expect there to be Zealot bombs. Tanks can't be too close. See that mine drag that kills the own tank? It's okay, because they mine killed 4 Dragoons earlier. Makes it worth it. Alright, does look like we're trying to poke in here. We're slowly, you know, closing the grip around the throat of Protoss. Getting a little greedy here with the Vultures. I feel like we're giving away some of those. Just need the Vultures to sit here and protect the tanks. Let the tanks do their work. They're chipping away on the wall. Meanwhile, up here, we've still got this shuttle with the Reaver that we need to worry about. This third base isn't going to be doing a whole lot for now. There's some Zealot bombs coming in, almost dragging some mines, ending up actually dying to some. So overall, pretty lucky right there from Terran. Just a huge, like, this is so much stuff. And non-pop's just not stopping. It's continuing to just go straight across the map. We're still on 5. Looks like we're going up to 7 factories now, just keeping the pedal to the metal on the production. Third base is getting wrecked here, though, by a Reaver. I want to see how many kills. We're at 4 kills right now. Did just run out of Scarabs. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's 2 more Scarabs. Oh, I kind of hope SexyToad comes back and pays attention to this guy. He's dead. Boom. Oh, right after building all the Scarabs. He's like, here's 200 minerals worth of Scarabs. Dead. I think this looks really good for our Terran player. And SexyToad would agree. GG is called. That's going to give it to Pop. These have been fun games tonight. And right now, that gives us Pop with the first victory. And so it looks like Pop trying to break the tie here between Bargain Bin Bonjwas and the Big Naturals. Well, let's find out if it happens in game number 2 of this series. Alright, game number 2. This is going to be on Polestar. Just like every other game 2. Alrighty. We've got Pop, our blue Terran, down here in the bottom left, representing the Big Naturals. And then up here in the top left, we got SexyToad, but don't let that fool you. He's just as sexy as you thought that word was. This is our red Protoss, and he's representing Bargain Bin Bonjwas. Speaking of Bargain Bin, we obviously had Black Friday shopping and all of that. And I've been seeing like random things on social media talking about what Black Friday was like in the early 2000s. And I remember those times, and I remember how crazy the like maniacal shopping was. And it was interesting because at Thanksgiving, my daughter, you know, she's young, and she was asking about like, what's Black Friday? Like, what's this whole shopping thing? And, you know, we were explaining to her, oh, it's basically just deals. And nowadays it's over a course of like several weeks. It's mostly online. And then we started showing her, but we told her, like, it used to be a lot different. It used to actually be pretty crazy. And we showed her like some videos of like, you know, early 2000s, people lining up and camping in front of Best Buy or whatever. And, you know, like killing each other to get like a TV. You know, just stupid stuff. And she thought that was pretty wild. It is wild. It's gross that people get so amped up over a deal. Anyway, back to the game. Nothing crazy. Now this time, SexyToad's not building this in the natural. That's one thing to point out. But it's also not Eclipse, right? So Eclipse, 2-player map, shutting it down against some sort of like early rush makes some sense. This looks a lot more standard in the sense that he's probably just going to go straight into goons. We'll have our normal bunker dragoon dance occur right here. It should be a nice standard Protoss versus Terran match. Alright, Probe's going to get in here, is going to see the factory. He's also going to see that gas isn't fully being mined. One of the big things the Protoss is considering at this point in the match, pre-expansion, is, am I going to get too fact? Are they going to be rushing me without expanding? In this case, I feel like the Protoss might be confident that that's not going to be the case, because there's only one person mining gas, which generally indicates that's going to be a normal expansion. SCV is coming up in here to the main. It's going to see the 2 gateways. It's going to see the cyber core spinning, which is almost always range. It's going to know that it's going to be dragoons and that there's not any zealots on the way. Or at least if there is a zealot, it's out on the map somewhere. Alright, kicking out a vulture. We need to expand here. This feels off. We're supply blocked. Waiting to expand. Where's the other supply depot? I feel like something got messed up here. Because we're going to be supply blocked for a hot minute. Alright, supply depot going down. Okay, and now we're starting to have dragoons out on the field. And SexyToad's just going to march it straight down. Oh, he already has 2 down here. I totally missed that. And there's not enough SCVs here to repair. You know, the rule of thumb being 1 SCV per dragoon to keep up with the DPS. And, you know, 3 dragoons can cook through this pretty quick, but I think he's waiting for range. Range is done. He just needs to get in position. Alright, he's going to start peppering this, this bunker. And you can just see how fast, right, like the damage happens. But he has the 3 SCVs there, so this bunker will be good for pretty much ever. Now the one risk that exists here is that they're actually repairing a little bit faster. And so once they fully repair it, then they stop repairing. And then you can start shooting at it again. And sometimes you don't notice that as the Terran player. This is hilarious. Excuse me, pardon me, coming back home. And then the bunker actually goes from full health to dead super fast. I want to keep an eye here, because this might actually happen. Alright, we're at 3. Okay, come on. It's healing up, it's healing up, it's healing up. Oh my gosh, did a mine just kill a goon? Yes. How ridiculous. Oh, see, it happened! It almost died! Because the SCVs fully repaired it, and then they stopped. Super annoying. You can see it happened here again. They're not repairing anymore. And losing this bunker, the only reason I'm really staring at this is because losing that bunker sucks so bad. Like, it's game losing sometimes, and all it can take is a little bit of lapse of attention, and SCV's doing their job. Okay, anyway, back to Protoss. All these probes are staring at each other. They're on strike. That sucks. SexyToad is not going to be happy when he sees all of them taking a little smoke break. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Cool. They're back in the game. Tank. 2 Marines in the bunker. 1 Goon here. 4 here. 1 here. Preventing Vulture run-bys, right? Like, that's why we're seeing this kind of positioning. Still in 2 factories. Getting eBay and Armory. Yeah, speaking of eBay and Armory, like, there's no detection. If SexyToad decided to do some sort of DT type thing, Pop would just be dead. I mean, he'll have mines as kind of like the main defense measure, but there's really nothing else. There's no turrets, there's no scan, there's no Goliaths to like shoot the shuttle before the DTs get dropped. But anyway, all that's changing now. eBay is complete. Missile turrets are being thrown down. Generally, at least there's one that goes here, specifically for kind of that DT, right? Or Reaver drop kind of play. Looks like we do have a robo facility around. We have a shuttle, and that shuttle's just got a goon, a couple zealots. We have observers on the field to help protect against mines. Now the support bay does exist, right? So high chance we'll be seeing a Reaver here very soon. Excellent. I kind of wish he wouldn't try to drop before having the Reaver as part of the drop. Because if you drop before that, like, this might do some damage, but now you're getting all the reaction, right? You're getting all the tanks up here, you're getting all the vultures up here. And now you're not going to be able to come back with the Reaver. Because I bet you he's probably going to start mining. Maybe not. I know that's what I would do. I'd be like, no, drops are on the table, boys. Let's mine up the dead space. And then your Reaver play becomes a whole lot less effective. So, was able to kill a couple SCVs, delayed these factories a little bit. The shuttle did get out of there alive, and is now going to be able to pick up that Reaver and get it into the fight if he wants to. Yo, this lemonade hits. Sitting here, I'm like, tank, Protoss. Okay, so Reaver and 2 zealots. Hearing a lot of mines going down as well, so mines being laid kind of here on the elevated terrain. This vulture here ready to kind of lay a mine here, but we do have kind of like this mine clearing operation going around. And it's funny because they were just here, left and came back, and this vulture snuck in at the perfect time. Vulture's doing their job, which is primarily to just be annoying. You know, I'm convinced a Reaver drop here would still be pretty dang powerful. Instead, it looks like the dropship is filled with zealots. Where did that other dropship go? It didn't, like, die or something, did it? I'd be very upset if I didn't see the Reaver do its dirty work. Might have missed it. Alright, Vulture is coming in. Seeing that there's no opening, getting pushed back. Letting to lay mines up here again. Oof. Alright. Cleans up all the pursuing zealots. I swear... Where did that... Okay, so the Reaver's still out. It just hasn't been picked up. I think it was, and then it was, like, redropped. Now we've got Goliaths here, and this is what I was talking about. Like, if you're going to do a drop, Make the first drop count. Because if it doesn't, the next one's going to be anticipated, and you're going to have a situation like this. Now, this is going to be annoying. 4 Zealots will actually do pretty good here. They'll probably kill both these Goliaths. But I don't think they're going to get a whole lot done beyond that. Except for maybe just pulling attention. So, they get cleaned up. And we're back to both players just kind of powering up. Now, Protoss has thrown down a third. Terran getting their third. This reminds me a little bit of the last game in the sense that Terran is just doing a pretty dang good job of just building non-stop. Just 5 factories. Just keep pumping units. This is a lot of tanks. See, like now you want to have those Zealot bombs. I feel like this is where it would be most beneficial. But there are some Goliaths, so you gotta be careful. Reaver about to get into play, and ooh, we've got carriers. I didn't even notice this whole shindig going down. We've got 3 starports building carriers. So now the name of the game for Protoss is don't die. Just stay alive long enough for these carriers to come out, and you'll be fine. The problem is, Pop really doesn't like that plan. Yeah, carriers have arrived. And now that this natural's in range of the tanks, we've got to make something happen here as Protoss. We just don't have that much of a ground army. I think this is the entirety of the ground army. And this is the entirety of the Terrans. And that's it. Gosh dang it, that was anticlimactic. I was really hoping we were just going to see some carrier nonsense. Like, be all the way down to, like, pylons at every base. But there would be, like, 6 carriers full of interceptors. And they would just walk through the entirety of the Terran line because that's what it feels like carriers do. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the big camera as it is labeled in my Streamlabs. And let's go ahead and knock out the final score. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. iNdo, 2-1 over CrimsonJoe. Puppette, 0-2 to Whoknows. SexyToad, 0-2 to Pop. Big Naturals are going to take these 3 series 2-1. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you're not part of CPL, you should definitely join. We're going to raid someone. So if you want to stick around, watch more Starcraft, we'll find someone that's playing Starcraft. But in the meantime, we need to do the anthem before we leave. So let's go ahead, knock that out. And then everyone can be on their merry little way. If I can find the song. There it is. Put your glasses on. Warm those fingers up.
Winners rise and losers fall, reflexes sharp, minds and floor. Gamers play, this never ends. CPL, where legends play. CPL, we fight tonight. Let us sing the storyline. From the shadows to the deep, we are the Coach-Pupil League.
Awesome. Well, thanks for those of you that stuck around to watch a late night cast. I don't know if I'll do these much in the future, but I just really wanted to cast. Didn't want to play. Who's on that we should raid, eh? Who's on? Seeing a lot here. I don't know how to work this rating thing well enough. We're gonna just do Hey, it's StarCraft 2, but she's cool. I'm gonna send you over to Krista Fafista. Have fun. Talk to y'all later. Well, I guess I gotta wait for the countdown. It has to go for like 5 more seconds, and we'll be good. All right, bye.